And this is an important point. You think that's bad? You know, the government say if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. That's utter nonsense. We all have something to hide. It's just from whom? Didn't pay all of your taxes, you're hiding something from the IRS. You're having an affair, you might be hiding something from your spouse. You called in sick on Friday and you were actually playing golf. You might have something to hide from your boss. We all have something to hide. And our financial affairs are those things that we keep closest to the breast. Those things that we don't want to hide, we just don't want it known. I don't want people getting into my bank account and knowing how much money I have, where it came from, and what I'm doing with it. It's nobody's business but mine. Certainly not anybody here, and even sometimes not even my wife's. So it's my business. We are all the same here. So privacy is the one thing which is going to drive cryptocurrencies beyond anything else. Now, who is that going to piss off? Anybody? Everybody's asleep. It's going to piss off governments. Why? Because governments derive most of their income from income taxes and taxes on the sales of goods and services. If governments cannot find out where your money is coming from and from whom, or how much you have or what you did with it, how can they tax it? All the legislation in the world will not get the government into your personal computer or your phone or your offline device to find out what you have done. Sure, you can pick and choose and randomly maybe arrest a few people. It's not going to stop this movement. But governments are going to be pissed off and they're going to try everything. This movement is a war. You need to understand this. It is a war against the established dynasty of power around the world. And those that currently have the power, like the banks, if banks do not adopt this in some meaningful fashion, they will disappear. If governments do not understand that they must find alternate means of revenue, governments will collapse. Facing this, do you think this is going to be an easy revolution? Can we just sort of wander around and dance in the fields? No, we can't. What happened yesterday with J.P. Morgan was a shot across the bow. See if we can collapse all cryptocurrencies with one fell swoop. A very powerful, influential person saying, governments are going to shut it all down. It had an impact, but it's coming back, and will continue to come back. Just like Jamie Dimon saying Bitcoin is a fraud. Bitcoin dropped 40%. 2 weeks later, it was 20% above what it was before the statement was made. You cannot stop this movement. You cannot impede it in any meaningful way, but you will have to fight for it. On days like today, you've got to be strong and say, well, screw it, it's going to come back. If we panic and we all sell, what does happen? Exactly what the banks want us to do. Collapse ourselves through our own fear. Hang on, nothing bad is happening. Now, what I like to do is speak for a couple of minutes like I have, and then answer the difficult questions that all of you are burning to ask me, I hope. If not, I can sing a little. Anybody with a question, please raise your hand. Yes, sir. I'm really hard of hearing. Can you come forward?
Stand up, please, and introduce yourself, if you don't mind. I'm Rob.
You're Rob? Yes, sir.
So, one thing I've been noticing is that...
Can you come a little closer, Rob? I'm 72 and can barely hear.
Look, John, one thing I've been realising and seeing is there's this huge redistribution of wealth going on, right? So, you know, I'm seeing just young guys that are making $30,000 a month just doing affiliate marketing, you know, and then traders making ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, I'm making good money, you know, and a year ago I wasn't, and this is rife. So, you know, when you have a big redistribution of wealth, right, there's social and political ramifications. Like, you know, when we had royalty and, you know, redistribution of wealth went to bankers, there was all sorts of political and social ramifications, what's going to happen? I mean, this is a new world economy. It's a new world developing. What's this new world going to look like?
It's going to look nothing like this world. It's going to be upside down. For example, what period of history ever had 15-year-olds being multimillionaires? Well, you can't count the number of them in the crypto world. Why? The kids are very perceptive. They don't have all this history that the older people like me have, and so they catch on really, really fast. They hang out with the Reddit community and others, and they start listening, and they go, well, this coin's going to rise. They take $25 from their allowance, and a week later they've got $2,500. They roll that over, and 6 months later, literally, they're multimillionaires. This has never happened. It's happening every minute of today's world. So, what's that going to look like? Good God. Do you want your 13-year-old child to rule the world? Probably not. So you better get on it too. So everything will be completely flipped upside. The banks, for example, that control almost everything, our interest rates, are going to have no power because we're not going to use them. What is an Ethereum wallet? It's a bank. It's your bank. And you may have multiple ones on every device that you have. You can do the equivalent of wire transfers. How long does it take to do an Ethereum transaction, assuming you have a decent internet connection? Seconds. I want to wire money, I want to send money to someone around the world. In a few seconds, it's there. I don't have to get out of bed, get in my car, drive to the bank, fill out forms, give information, and wait 24 hours or 48 for that money to arrive. Now, here is something very critical you need to understand. Why is the cryptocurrency world so volatile and so quick to make millionaires and to lose millionaires? Because time is compressed. Take the average graph from any stock market on the New York Stock Exchange and look at it over time. You don't have these massive spikes. Why? Because it does take 24 hours to do a wire. Because it does take time to interface with this massive centralized system to accomplish anything. If transactions are being processed and reprocessed in milliseconds, what's going to happen? The prices are going to skyrocket. They are going to be volatile, and they are going to be compressed, which is why 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds who truly understand this and go, I see what's happening here. I could invest in the company my dad works for and make 10% in a year, or I can do something myself and make 10% in a minute. Time is compressed in this digital world of cryptocurrencies. Please see the impact and the import of understanding this one thing. It explains why people, oh my God, it's so volatile, it's going to collapse. No, it's just like anything else. It's just compressed by a factor of 1,000. So instead of getting 10% per year, as you would on the stock market, I have a public company, MGT, we're one of the world's largest miners of Bitcoins. Our stock is, if it grows 50% this year, we're going to be lucky. Find me a cryptocurrency that has not on a given day grown 400% on a certain day. They all have. Time compressed. The amount of money you can make compressed. And the amount of money you can lose also compressed. Now on paper, boy, have I lost a lot of money in the past 24 hours. Well, I haven't sold anything and have no intention of it. In 2 months, I'll still be way ahead of where I was before, and so will you. Because of this compression. You can wait things out. It doesn't take long to wait out. So, I hope that, answers the question. I think I didn't forgotten the question. I've gone off on a tangent, but thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
We have a mic here. Let me just bring it down 1 second.
Thanks, John. I'm Slava from Ukraine, actually from Satoshi School with Jörg Molkt here. John, I would like to ask you, 15 years ago, suddenly we started hearing that if your company does not have a website presence, then probably it doesn't exist for the world, okay?
It doesn't have what, sir?
If your 15 years ago, we started hearing this all over the place. If your company doesn't have a website, okay, then it probably doesn't exist for this world. Nobody knows about it, okay? So, do you think in the future it's going to be the same as cryptocurrencies? Like, if your company doesn't have a cryptocurrency, then it probably doesn't exist, you know? Every company would sell their products as their own currency? Or you think there's going to be like 2 or 3 currencies that's going to evolve and become like the major currencies in the world?
Okay, let me go back to my analogy with operating systems. Okay, if I manufacture printers or any device that interfaces with a mainframe, with a laptop, with your phone, then obviously I'm going to write the code for that device, am I not? Because I understand what my device or my product needs, right? Now, with an operating system, that is limited to the functionality of the product itself. With cryptocurrencies and smart contracts, it's going to relate to every aspect of your business. So of course, if you do not have a cryptocurrency that folds into this, whatever you might call it, meta wallet, the god of all the currencies, that organizes and arranges them just like an operating system does, then yes, I think you're going to be left out. Absolutely. And you're going, my God, that's going to be hundreds of thousands of coins. Do you care? Large operating systems have hundreds of thousands of subroutines. Some of them each written by different people. Do you care? You don't even know about it. The operating system takes care of it for you. The meta wallet will take care of this for you. All you do is throw money into it in whatever form you want. Ethereum, Bitcoins, Moneros, cash, dollars, who cares? Credit cards, and it will take care of everything. Your location, the things that you need, to say that what you say it's a Sunday and we're going on an outing, it will activate the outing module. Okay,